What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing. It is Sunday, the 17th of January, 2021. Well, we got a lot going on, huh? 25,000 plus troops in D.C., armed to the teeth. Man, in all my years of doing this, we've never seen what we're seeing right now. They're talking about protests in all 50 states, military active in all 50 states. Oh boy. As always, the first link below would take over to the Patreon. Let's just jump into the madness. Trump impeached for inciting U.S. Capitol riot. Historic, blah, 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 blah. Put a link to this. Nothing's going to happen. FBI warns of plans nationwide protest next week. Nationwide armed protest at capitals. Boy, this coming week is going to be something to watch. I can't even wrap my... This is it, people. I mean, you talk about standing on the edge of the abyss. We've never been closer. I mean, like I said, all my years of doing that, we've never seen this before. New terror threat points to plots surrounding Capitol lawmaker says. Of course, all of these domestic terrorists. You know, a couple of people have made the point that if you need 25,000 plus armed military members to protect your inauguration, maybe there's the possibility that the people of the United States did not elect you. I'll put a link to this. Let's see. Donald Trump declares emergency in Washington, D.C., approves federal help, lessen the adverse threat of catastrophe in District of Columbia. 20,000, I'm hearing 25,000, possibly 30,000 now, armed troops on the streets of D.C. There's videos on YouTube of the barricades that have put up. I mean, we're talking combat style shit that you see overseas. I mean, hey, remember when we told you all those years ago how the military was training to take over the American people? Nobody listened to us. Lady Gaga, Jennifer Lopez will be in attendance at the inauguration. Well, nobody else will be, so have at it. Nursing home, let's get into the coronavirus news. Had 0 coronavirus deaths, then the they vaccinated residents for coronavirus, and then the deaths began. I don't know where this is out of. I'll put a link to it. This is from the Ron Paul Institute. Chinese health experts call to suspend Pfizer's mRNA vaccine for elderly after Norwegian death. A lot of people dying in Norway. You want to see something heartbreaking? Look at this.
Do you want to help me get up and...
You see this?
Walk.
This is what it's doing to people. Anybody remember the name Desiree Jennings? I'll put a link to this video here, and I'll put a link to the woman's Facebook page. She's posting updates on her condition. She got the vaccine, and then, you know, a couple days later, she can't move right. Of course, the doctors are disputing that. Indiana woman's viral video claims serious COVID-19 vaccine side effects. Doctors dispute. Of course they do. And I got one more. Now, this guy here, his mother had the same thing. But I think I'll put a link to his page if you want to go over. He put up a video as to why the videos were pulled down. But he'll probably update her condition over there. A lot of people, I guess, are being hateful towards these people, like they're making this shit up. I mean, we warned people years ago about the thimerosal and the dead fetal cells and the heavy metals and all of this shit that they put in the vaccines. And we tell people, look at the ingredients. Ask, before they shoot that shit into your body, ask the person shooting it into your body if you can see what the ingredients are. Anyway, over to financial news. How the major U.S. stock indexes fared on Friday. The Dow Jones lost 177, still above 30,000, 30,814. I'll put a link to the market recap data if anybody cares. Twitter lost $5 billion in market value after bad. That's no shocker there. I hope they lose a lot more. Parler sues Amazon, asks court to reinstate platform. As all of you know, Parler's down. I got a link coming up on that. I don't know if they're going to have much of a case because, you know, it's all in the terms of service, right? I mean, people argue about the First Amendment, and I agree. It's bullshit to censor people. But when you enter into an agreement legally on these platforms, they spell it out in a language that they can terminate you for any reason whatsoever. I mean, it's all in there. So I don't know if they're going to have any luck there, but good luck. PayPal says it blocked Christian crowdfunding site Give, Send, Go, because apparently they funded some of the stuff that went down in D.C. Wall Street banks freeze political donations after Capitol Hill riots, threaten pro-Trump politicians with blacklisting. Interesting, from Breitbart News. Biden says his priority will be minority and women-owned small businesses. Yeah, just like they all say. Put a link to that. NRA files for bankruptcy amid fraud suit in New York. Be advised. And I got one more. America's biggest owner of farmland is now Bill Gates. Boy, Agenda 21, I bet there'd be all kinds of GMOs growing in those fields. You know, there was a great video years ago by some awesome female YouTubers. Just say no to GMO. If I could find that video, if it's still up, I'll put it in the cards. You want to see that if you're not aware of GMOs. Anyway, over to New World Order and Police State News. This is where I stop and ask you to share this video. Important stuff coming up here. YouTube suspends Trump's account, barring uploads and comments. That's no shocker there. Put a link to that. Parler has now been booted from Amazon, Apple, and Google, so bye-bye to Parler. Put a link to that. Everybody's already aware. With no explanation, Ron Paul's locked out of his Facebook account. More censorship going on. Dissent is not allowed. Twitter will no longer allow questioning of fraudulent. You better not say that. 1984 on steroids. Speaking of Twitter, I got some tweets here. Delta Airline landed a plane because people were talking about President Trump. Get off my plane! People who broke into the Capitol are finding themselves on no-fly lists. Oh, yes, domestic terrorism. Read the Patriot Act. Read the National Defense Authorization. All that stuff that's in there that we warned you about years ago. Now you're on the list. Put a link to that. The deplatforming continues. GoDaddy boots AR15.com. I'll put a link to that. We got in new law, Spokane City mirrors state restrictions on militias. Oh, those evil. If you listen to CNN this way, just for shits and giggles, I turn it on. They're just, these evil militia people. These are dangerous domestic terrorists, all of them. Ontario implements new state of emergency stay-at-home order. My people's up in Canada is being aware of that. Check this out. You talk about something we told you years ago. Police in the UK are using license plate reading cameras to monitor drivers. COVID-19 essential travel. Do you remember when we made a big deal about license plate reading cameras being put on poles and on the back of police cars and stuff like this? What was your argument then? Oh, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you don't have anything to worry about, right? Didn't we tell you then how that surveillance apparatus would be turned inward on the people? Check this article out, people. Check it out. New world order in your face. Vaccines every year. Matt Hancock admits highly likely Britons will face annual COVID jabs. You don't mind, do you? Every year, just show up to get your shot. It's the only way you're going to have your freedom. What little freedom we allow you to have. And what can you do if your loved one gets radicalized or starts expressing extremist views? You got to look out for the warning signs. Oh my God, my loved one's going crazy. He's just paying too much attention and starting to figure things out. And he's waking up and, he's starting to realize that everything around him is a fraud. He's crazy. Anyway, over to World War III news. Lieutenant General Tom McInerney says World War III has started. What? Put a link to that. I don't know the website. Let's see. Pelosi nearly sparks nuclear war with Russia. Marine Corps rebukes Pelosi. We don't work for you. Right on. Shout out to whoever said that to her. Screw her. FEMA updates nuclear attack protocols on January 10, 2021. Be advised. Jericho, Operation Blackjack. Google it if you don't know what I'm saying. With no sign of U.S. returning to the fold, Russia is preparing to withdraw from Open Skies Treaty, says Foreign Ministry. That from RT. Just in, U.S. State Department cancels all trips planned for next week over transition, including Pompeo's visit to Europe. Not sure if that's World War III related, but I threw it in the bin. Iran holds missile drill in Gulf of Oman. I heard they shot off a missile. I don't have a link to that, but it landed somewhere close to some commercial shipping or something. They're shooting stuff out there. But anyway, I'll put a link to this here. Major power outages reported in multiple cities in Iran, says Disclosed TV. Power outages were reported at the Vatican, were reported in all kinds of... There's a lot of weird... Yeah, I just Google power outages, or I wouldn't Google it, I would Yahoo search it, power outages, and, look up the past 30 days. There's been a lot of crazy power outages going on. Anyway, I put a link to that. Silent but deadly, Marines see biggest deployment of rifle suppressors ever. Put a link to that, and I got one more. The Pentagon won't throw traditional farewell ceremony for Trump. Over to Earth changes in 2012 news now. We got a 6.1 on the 15th, a 6.2 on the 14th. 6.0 on the 12th, 6.7 on the 11th, a lot of 6 points and aboves out there. I'll put a link to the earthquake data if you want to check it out. I did see somewhere, I don't know where, I don't have a link on it, but there is a volcano going off somewhere. You can Google volcano, you'll probably find that. Let's see, be prepared for power outage, says ready.gov is tweeting out. Do they know something we don't? Is the power going to go out? I was just speaking about power outages and they're tweeting it out. Be ready, always be prepared. Newsweek says asteroid bigger than the Empire State to pass Earth as Donald Trump presidency ends. What? Is that what all these... You never know, man. You never know what might be going on in the background, what they're not telling us about. What we're seeing could be completely different than what's really happening. I'm open-minded, I'm just saying. Be ready for anything. Acting Department of Homeland Security Chief Chad Wolf resigns. Be advised, more people disappearing. We got, look at this now. Look at this. I call bullshit. Banker Benjamin D. Rothschild's owner of the D. Rothschild Group dies at 57. I don't think so. I'm just my speculation. Meanwhile, UFO intelligence officials have 180 days to release information about UFOs and hot green alien bitches. To whom it may concern at Area 51, Skype me her phone number. I have a friend who wants to hook up. Over to strange and bizarre news. Trump reportedly bullying Pence. You could be a patriot or a pussy. That from the Daily Beast. Well, I guess he made his choice. Trump calls in pillow salesman to discuss possibility of March. Don't forget to bring my pillow. I'll put a link to it. I just don't understand this reality we're living in. Joe Scarborough drops F-bomb on MSNBC, calls for arrest of Donald Trump after Capitol raid. F-bomb on MSNBC, FCC, nothing to say. PBS chief counsel caught on camera demanding re-education camps, child confiscation, and Molotov cocktails thrown at Trump. Who's a domestic terrorist now? AOC says, we came so close to dying. Half the house nearly died during the riots. I'll put a link to that. Congresswoman who bragged about her desire to carry a weapon on Capitol Hill got into a standoff with Capitol Police over the new metal detectors. Put a link to that. Angry staffer appears to be behind the State Department website edits saying Trump term is over. Apparently, they say his Trump ended early, and I guess it was an angry staffer that edited the website. Macaulay Culkin throws support behind calls to have Trump cameo edited out of Home Alone 2. Screw that little bastard. Anyway, I'll put a link to that. Unity, CNN's Don Lemon. If you voted for Trump, you are with the Klan, the Nazis, and the rioters. Okay. DailyMail.com says American Chinese socialite 34 who rubbed shoulders with Hillary Clinton jumps to her death naked from a Hong Kong penthouse while holding her 5-month-old daughter. Just sad. I heard somebody else, the butter guy, some other guy, Google it, jumped off his balcony in New York. I don't know, he's depressed about something. Anyway, for all the news, please check my favorite videos. All kinds. Let's see. COVID-19 new variant is in the U.S. Be advised. Hold people accountable for their words. He's talking about the pillow guy, Lone Star. Great video there. Protesters take to the streets over the security bill over in Paris, I believe it is. All 50 states ramping up. I mean, there's all kinds of fresh news over here. Be sure to check my favorites. Thank you to everybody who continues to post content, keeping everybody informed. You guys are doing awesome work. I got a couple shout-outs. Shout-out to Capitol Hill police officers suspended for actions during rioters' attack on Capitol. Apparently, there was some officers that participated and even helped a rioter. Some people are saying, well, that proves it was an inside job. What if, though, these are good guys doing the right thing? You know, all of the military and police officers, you got to stop and think about whose side you're on. Because now you're at a point where you have to pick a side. You're either on the side of freedom and liberty or you're on the side of the New World Order. That's the only two choices you got. So shout out to the ones that are making the right decision. I'm not saying that that's what these guys did, but it could have been. And if it is, I praise them and, you know, join the fight. Join the right. What side of history do you want to be on? That's what you got to ask yourself. And shout out to the Patriot Nurse. An urgent message, what I learned in prayer and fasting yesterday. I realized that my extremist views might not sit right with a lot of people. The Patriot Nurse is a much more grounded person, religious, that kind of thing. If you need to hear it from somebody, I would definitely recommend watching her video as far as what's going on right now and where we need to be and what we need to do and the situation we're in, people. We're in a lot of trouble. Anyway, check her video out. Really struck me in the heart this week. That's all I got for this week, guys. If you'd like to report, please give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you think it sucked, it's the worst of YouTube. You never want to see it, and please rate it. It helps move around. You can also follow me. Make sure you're following me on BitChute and Gab. You can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. All my links are at the bottom. You can support me on Patreon, or you can follow me over there for free. I will never charge for my content. You can also support me with PayPal. All my links are at the bottom. I put a lot into these reports, and people, this upcoming week is going to be madness unlike we've ever seen. I sincerely hope nothing bad happens, but I do not see the inauguration and all the stuff going down just as planned. People are upset. The American people are on edge. Everyone knows. Again, I got to watch what I say. That's a problem right there. 1984 and all. I don't know what to say, people. I don't know if we're going to be here next week to make a report. I certainly hope we are. But it might be go time this week. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I mean, everyone knows what I'm saying, right? I mean, I don't know how to express it into words. The shitstorm that we're looking into right now. 25,000 plus armed military members on the streets of Washington, D.C. Like I said, like a lot of people have said, if you need that much help at your inauguration, there's a pretty good chance that the people didn't actually elect you. But I can't say that. So we'll just leave that there. Anyway, you guys take care. Stay safe. Remain vigilant. Be prepared. with your bug out bags and whatever your plans are. Be prepared to execute them on a moment's notice, because shit could break loose real fast. You guys take care, stay safe. I will see you on the next one.